Good morning and welcome to this edition of San Diego People. I'm Jason Ostel. 3 women leaders are making news both locally and nationally for their work at the front of the field of philanthropy. We're joined by Beth Sirull, President and CEO of the Jewish Community Foundation of San Diego, and President and CEO of San Diego Grantmakers, Debbie McKeon. And they're here to talk more about their collaborative efforts with a very unique approach. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having us. I really appreciate it.
This is all about something you call impact investing.
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
So the Jewish Community Foundation of San Diego, as a little background, is the largest philanthropic funder in San Diego. We've put $1.5 billion into the community in San Diego. Our donors have contributed a tremendous amount to make San Diego America's finest city. And yet, as fine as it is, we can still see that despite all this philanthropy, we have tremendous problems in affordable housing, in creating quality jobs with livable wages, with climate change. And impact investing, philanthropy alone is not enough. And so impact investing is a way to invest your dollars for a financial return as well as for social good. It often complements philanthropy, and we're very excited to be collaborating with Debbie at San Diego Grantmakers and with others around the city to help bring philanthropy, private investment, and government together to come up with scalable solutions that really make a sizable impact on some of these really pressing issues in San Diego. So I wanted to introduce Debbie McKeon, as you said, CEO of San Diego Grantmakers and one of my close colleagues. And San Diego Grantmakers has really been spearheading growing the impact investing, what we call ecosystem, how we make impact investing happen here in San Diego. So I'd love to ask you to tell us a little bit about that.
Thank you, Beth, and thank you, Jason. It's a pleasure to be here. And Beth, thank you for doing such a great job of really demystifying that concept of impact investing, because it really is much simpler than it sort of appears to sound. And so as I think about impact investing, I think about our community, and I think about the Jewish Community Foundation, Beth, and then later we'll hear from our colleague Lauren Grattan, all being members of a 150-plus strong community of San Diego Grantmakers who's really leaning in to solve these complex problems that we have. And so, our members include foundations, corporate giving programs, giving circles, individual impact investors, but also what's unique is that funders from outside the region are asking to be part of our community in more ways, because now they see that we're beginning to get big things done, and impact investing is one of those ways. So to give just a little sense of how we've been growing this practice, impact investing was coined like maybe 12 years ago, and it was kind of a unicorn concept. And yet, through the work of the impact investors with the San Diego Impact Investors Network, which is now part of San Diego Grantmakers, they really worked diligently to bring us to the point where we're having a normal conversation about people who are impact investing every day. So in that spirit of keeping it normal and how can everybody else get involved, I thought I'd maybe just share 2 investments that we have going on right here in San Diego. The first you may have already heard about in the news. It's called YIGBY, Yes in God's Backyard. And that's a project of San Diego Grantmakers. Our members are coming together with the normal donated capital, but also in this way of impact investing, bringing loan dollars to partner together with faith-based communities so that we can rapidly build affordable housing without using the traditional forms of financing that have taken us much longer. So it's a way of us all leaning in and putting more resources to really solve our region's incredible housing shortage crisis, because we really do all believe that everyone deserves a home. The second one is really around wealth building, economic development. And that's another project at San Diego Grantmakers amongst our members. And it's called the Women's Empowerment Loan Fund. And so our members came together and put in loan dollars to stand up a fund where women business owners, primarily women of color, can receive low-cost business development loans. And the reason we did this is because data tells us that women have more trouble accessing capital than men. And so while that fund is helping women grow their businesses, which is also then helping build wealth in their communities, we had a second reason for doing this, and that's because we set it up as a very accessible fund so that new impact investors could get a taste of what's so special about impact investing. So we're growing the pipeline of people that can impact invest to have both a financial return and a social return while doing good in their community. So it's a really important way of nurturing and getting more resources to go to work. And Beth, like, you were a champion in terms of San Diego grantmakers standing up the Women Empowerment Loan Fund. So, like, why? Why was that important for you?
The Women's Empowerment Loan Fund, as Debbie said, it was an opportunity to enable our donors to make an impact investment and get their toe in the water. And we let people invest for as little as $5,000, which I know is a lot of money, but in the scheme of investing, it's not a lot. You know, many investments have $100,000 and $250,000 minimum. So we kept it really low, and so we could get people to get their foot wet or toe in the water on impact investing. But more importantly, we understand, as Debbie said, like, we brought 40 or 50 donors together and together we became the anchor investor in the Women's Economic Empowerment Loan Fund, because when you provide women with some capital, they grow their businesses, and when they grow their businesses, their children go to school, they end up in affordable housing, they eat better, they advocate for their children. I mean, around the world we see that when women have economic empowerment, entire communities come up. And we're super excited, and our donors are excited. We're going to get together with some of the borrowers. We'll start creating a little catalog of the businesses so people can shop there, because it's not, you can support the causes you care about in more ways than granting and investing. You can pay attention to how you spend money. And so we're looking forward to showcasing these women and their businesses as this grows.
How
we're really
many
excited.
women in San Diego are involved right now? In our community here?
Who have invested in the fund?
Or who are beneficiaries of that?
It just closed, so we're making our first loan. So if someone, if there's a business owner out there who's looking for a little loan capital for their small business, we would love to know about it.
And so then you would contact San Diego grantmakers, and we would help get you set up so that you could go through that process. So we actually have loan applications that we've already received. We did our first borrower fair 2 weeks ago. We're excited. We have more borrower fairs to help potential borrowers get connected not only to the Women Empowerment Loan Fund capital, but we're connected with the other impact lenders in the region. And so everybody's coming together so that people can see the full breadth of opportunities to be able to get capital to help grow their businesses and build wealth in their community.
Very good.
And sometimes the Women's Empowerment Loan Fund is making loans of $5,000 to $25,000, relatively small loans for small businesses. Across the network of impact lenders in the city, there's access to capital up to $250,000, $500,000.
We're going to talk more about that. We've got to take a quick break, but definitely want to find out about that. Still ahead on San Diego People. It takes a village of people to encourage philanthropy in the region, and we're going to meet another leader who's working to help make it all happen. We'll be right back.